So we're dealing with North Korea. They want to meet, and we'll be meeting with them. It's probably being set up as we speak, but we'll let you know. But North Korea would like to do something. Iran would like to do something. We have a lot of countries in a very good position right now.
Well, the hopes of jump-starting nuclear talks between the U.S. and North Korea, well, they're dashed, at least for now. South Korean media reports says that the talks between the two countries' diplomats that was occurring in Sweden have broken down, indicating that the top North Korean negotiator accused us of coming to the table, quote, empty-handed. Well, that's a characterization the State Department denies. And, of course, this comes just 3 days after Kim Jong-un test-fired a missile at sea. First reports suggested it could have come from a submarine, but confirmation later said it was from an undersea barge. Let's bring in retired Lieutenant Colonel James Carafano, Vice President for National Security and Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation. Colonel, good to see you. First of all, what's an undersea barge? Why would they trot out an undersea barge to test something? What, to see if they could fire something from a submarine?
Right. Yeah, so you've never been on a submarine before. So you don't want to fire a missile from a submarine underwater unless you know it's going to work.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't work, everybody dies. So you test it in a surrogate, in a barge, until you've absolutely got it 100% safe before you try it on your submarine. Because not only do you kill the thing, you lose the submarine. North Korea doesn't have that many.
All right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, and that shows something else, that they incrementally, bit by bit, do these little tests, and then they get more proficient, and then their missile goes even further. Then they try something else again, and then it goes even further than that. This is how they do it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're continuing to develop their capabilities. There's no question about that. But, you have to flip it from our perspective. What are our vital interests? That there's not a war in the region, and they can't directly threaten the United States. And the umbrella that the United States has in place, nuclear deterrence, missile defense, the conventional deterrence, and the heavy sanctioning, North Korea can take these baby steps, but they can't threaten U.S. vital interests. And that's just a status quo that's going to continue for some time.
And in terms of the status quo, I mean, it looks like it's back to the drawing board over in Sweden for now. I mean, those talks breaking off. Our State Department says no, that we came with, quote, creative ideas, and we had good discussions with our North Korean counterparts. And we thank the Swedish Foreign Ministry, and they will meet, prepared to meet again in 2 weeks. But the North Koreans apparently walked out. What's up with that?
Well, you can never, I think it's always a mistake to kind of say this is what the North Koreans are doing, because the honest answer is we just don't know. We know they did switch out their negotiating teams. That really doesn't tell us very much because they've done that before, and that doesn't really seem to make much of a difference. It is noteworthy that they didn't say the talks are done, just say they've broken off. Even the North Koreans said they're coming back. But I think at Hanoi, the president was very clear. I only want a big deal. That fundamental position hasn't changed on the president, and I think the North Koreans are continuing to test that proposition. They've seen Bolton leave. Maybe they thought that made a difference. They put a new negotiating team out there. Maybe they thought that made a difference. But they're continuing to press to see if the U.S. is really serious about a big deal. But I got to tell you, as closely as I watch this president, I still think that he is holding out for the big deal, which means a deal that includes denuclearization. It may be phased, but there's a commitment up front to get rid of their nuclear weapons at the end of the process.
Yeah, do you think that the North Koreans, at least from Kim Jong-un's point of view, is they keep on poking at us, and the president isn't responding, and they're not used to that. I mean, here they're firing off these missiles, and the president comes out and says, "Oh, okay, so what?" That's not the reaction that they expect.
Yeah, my assessment really was that the North Koreans are just buying time till they see the results of the election. Even if Kim, at the end of the day, would make the deal with the president, why would he make the deal unless he knew Trump was coming back to enforce it? So I think still the betting is the North Koreans want to see what happens next November.
So they're playing out the clock in a sense.
Well, that's just a guess. We'll see.
Do you think that in any realm of possibility that they would actually surrender their nuclear weapons? The president has certainly talked about this, has offered them or at least talked about economic benefits that he has shown. It's not in the realm, many would say, of that regime. It's all based on a militarized philosophy. The whole economy in the upper class is based on the fact that it's a military state.
Well, we have two unknowns that we've never had before in this decade-long confrontation with North Korea. We have a different president and a different leader in North Korea. We have a young leader who has kind of looked and thought out of the box. And we really don't know what he's really going to do at the end of the day. And we have in Donald Trump something that the North Koreans have never had before. His grandfather, his father, an American president never sat down with him and said, look, trust me, if you do this, we will normalize and bring North Korea into the world, and we won't try to change your regime, and you will remain in control, and your country will prosper. That's never happened before. We'll have to see, but it's really two people have to decide if they're going to walk down this path together. But I really think if I were the North Koreans, I'd want to wait and see if Trump was going to come back. And of course, I think all this impeachment thing has complicated their assessment of what's going on. So I'm kind of still in the camp that says we're just going to play rope-a-dope for a little longer.
Well, that certainly is an amazing historic offer from the President of the United States to try and break the horrible bureaucracy and human rights record of that country, as well as the threat that it is posed to Japan, our allies, and us. We'll see how it continues to go. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.